You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. LSU has also added another member to its recruiting staff. Jordan Arcement. It's been reported, he actually tweeted earlier today. He tweeted, "I'm back," and there's a graphic of him holding the phone up to his ear, and he's wearing LSU gear. If you're not familiar with Jordan Arcement, he's been hired reportedly as a member of LSU's recruiting staff. So not an on-field coach, but as a recruiting member. Played his football collegiately at Nicholls State and has kind of bounced around a little bit. He's only 30 years old. So a young guy, but dynamic. Most recently, he had been on staff at Virginia under Bronco Mendenhall as the program's senior scout. He left college football briefly this year to join the apparel world, kind of focusing on NIL stuff, but now is jumping back into college because of this opportunity at LSU. Now, what's interesting is that Arcement, again, went to E.D. White, played his football at Nicholls, had kind of been around college football, took the job again at UVA, briefly was out of football, but now is back in at LSU. When he was at Virginia, he's the guy that's mostly responsible for the Louisiana pipeline that went up to Charlottesville, Virginia. Arcement's the guy who recruited Mike Hollins, the running back from U-High, Dontavian Wicks, Brandon Williams, Jonathan Horton, Donovan Johnson. You go look at UVA's roster and you see all these kids from Louisiana. You're like, how do these kids from Louisiana ended up at the University of Virginia? That's why. And we see this sometimes. Remember when we saw the Louisiana pipeline to Kansas for a little while? Well, you had Les Miles there. You had Chevis Jackson there. They had relationships in this state, and they were able to successfully recruit some of those kids out of state to even to Lawrence, Kansas. Well, this was the same thing at UVA. And it happens sometimes in recruiting. The thing that's the most, encouraging for me as I look at how Brian Kelly is making over his staff, one of the biggest questions a lot of people had when he came in and he started uprooting a lot of the people who had ties to this program and had been here for a while, especially those with ties to Louisiana. And yes, there was on-field guys like Raymond and Falk and Munoz, but even off-field guys like Austin Thomas. And if you go look at recruiting staff, support personnel, analysts, a lot of people who had ties to Louisiana that Orgeron brought in are no longer here. It's not just the 10 on-field assistants that you see very publicly all the time. And Brian Kelly recognized that, and he has worked. And when you see now the piece of the puzzle coming together, while over the last month a lot of people freaked out and wondered why hasn't he made more hires? Why aren't we hearing more? He was head down working, building this thing all together. And it's obvious to see now as it starts to materialize. He brought in Frank Wilson. Of course, Frank Wilson coached at McNeese. He's got the southwest part of the state, of course, ties to Louisiana. Joe Sloan, quarterbacks coach from Louisiana Tech, whose recruiting area was Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and of course was in the northern part of state there in Ruston. Retaining Brad Davis from Baton Rouge. All the reports are that he's going to hire Cortez Hankton as his receiver coach. SEC experience, played at St. Aug, he's from New Orleans, has that area covered. You can see kind of how he's piecing this all together. He's got roots in the entire state. Then you look at guys like John Randall Belton, who's on staff right now, and now you add Jordan Arcement, who has Bayou ties from E.D. White, from Thibodeau, played at E.D. White, played at Nicholls. You can see how Brian Kelly is piecing this together to say, listen, yeah, we uprooted a lot of what had been here for so long, but we're replacing it by planting new seeds, but Louisiana-based people that know the culture. To me, what it looks like he's done is he's hired a staff that on field knows what Brian Kelly's expectations are. So it's going to make a very more natural transition for the entire staff on field. But he has also brought in a lot of the support staff roles, people that know Louisiana, know the culture, and on field as well, that are going to be able to recruit this state, because Brian Kelly has said it in every interview he's done. You got to start with Louisiana. You got to recruit the players in this state first. And it's putting together a staff that has ties to this state. So many times we talk about just the 10 on-field assistants because those are the ones that can go recruit off campus. But a lot of times it's that support staff personnel that's organizing your recruiting board, that are doing the evaluations of the prospects, that are putting on recruiting events like Boys from the Boot, that are making the phone calls and shooting the texts and the emails to constantly stay in touch with these prospects. That's what this is here. And you could see what Brian Kelly is doing. He set up his staff to coach on the field, and he set up his support staff to get these players here. This is another great example of it. Jordan Arcement has joined LSU staff. A young guy with Louisiana ties that knows how to recruit, this state as well, that's supplementing the staff. You really like a lot what Brian Kelly is doing piecing this team together. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.